So the first step here is to activate the yeast with a little bit of warm water. So this is 2 teaspoons of yeast in about 1.5 cups of warm water. Then we've got to measure out our bread flour. So I'm using about 1 pound of bread flour here, which is 450 grams. Bread flour is special because it has more gluten than other flour, so it makes a nice stretchy kind of bread instead of like cake, which is not as stretchy as bread. You can see I'm a little over, but it's fine. I've added salt here. It's a gray Celtic sea salt, so it's got minerals and stuff in it, which is not necessary. But I've just put it in 2 spots because I don't want to pour my yeast right on it. Here you see I've poured in that yeast water. I didn't want to pour it directly in the salt because salt can kill yeast, but I'm mixing in the water. As I mix, you can see the dough is building up strands of gluten. It's getting nice and stretchy. This is a no-knead bread. I didn't have to take it out of the bowl to knead it, but I kind of clean up the sides. Just make sure my dough is in a nice ball in the center. And then I'm going to let it rest for some time so that yeast can start digesting the carbohydrates in the bread. So you can see there's quite a lot of carbohydrates in flour. This is what the yeast is going to be eating and breaking down with its enzymes. About an hour later, let's check on that dough. It's looking nice and jiggly. It's nice and aerated. I think I show you the bubbles in the, yep, there it is. Yeah, you can see it's full of air because that yeast is breaking down starches into alcohol and carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a gas which is filling up the bread dough. All right, it's a few hours later. I stuck it in the fridge just to slow down the rising a little bit because I didn't want it to eat through all the carbohydrates and then start dying when it ate through all the carbohydrates. So slowed down the yeast a little bit. Here it is after a few more hours in the fridge. It's nice and stretchy. It's full of air. I shape it into a nice loaf shape on some parchment paper. Used a bit more flour just to keep it from sticking to everything. Let's put it in the oven. I put it in this nice casserole dish to trap some steam in there, to cook it nice and thoroughly. There you can see is my finished loaf, and it was great. Yeah, I made it a couple more times since then, and it's been better every time.